Hello and welcome back to Conelanders Rally League. We are here in the second week of October. I missed the first week's race, but here we are in the second week. We have a choice of a Delta Integrale Impreza, a 95 Impreza, which is the more iconic one, and an Escort Cosworth. Just no on the Escort because it's just ugly. I can't even just no. I normally would pick the Subaru, but I have a soft spot for the lunacy that is Lancia. I just love them. I don't particularly like the looks of this one, but just the craziness of Lancia is enough to make me pick this one. I have zero practice. I'm coming right off of our Conelanders GT3 series race, where it was interesting, so you'll probably see those races before you see this video, just because of how editing priorities work out for me. I still got quite a few videos to go before this one, so you'll probably see it after that GT3 race, so yeah, that was an interesting race. I didn't do quite as good as I would hope to, like always, but I was quite happy with my performance nonetheless. So, I'm gonna do a few rundowns just to get used to the car, reset my brake bias, like always, because I'm a lunatic and I like rear biased. Well, not a lunatic. But you know what I mean. Anyway, let me go. I almost started stage. That would have been horrendous because I have zero practice and I don't know what this car's like. It's been a while. And, alright. You know, I'll come back with you after I'm done with this.
Crest and right 5 over crest jump. We're losing cooling. Jump maybe, left 5, and crest jump, into right 6 long over crest pump past junction, and right 6. The temps are sky high.
Wow. I just retired in a shakedown. A shakedown! I'm the worst. Wow. Wow. Alright, here we are in the first stage. Let's do this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Right 6 over crest, 130.
Alright, so I was going to say it earlier, but I ended up not. But I'm really glad to be in a proper manual after the GT3 race. I still, to this day, am hitting, or like reaching for the H pattern when I go to shift in the GT3 car, which just won't do anything because they're, whew, almost died. Because they are the flappy paddles only, so.
Right 6 long over crest pump past junction, and right 6 crest jump maybe.
All right.
Left 3 long and crest. Left 6 through dip and crest jump.
All right, got that started again. Lost a little time there, but nothing horrendous.
Past junction, left 6, don't cut.
I've already noticed that in the shakedowns that I've stalled it a couple times.
And right 5 over crest jump maybe. Stay right. Left 6 don't cut. 80. Right 6 over crest, and left 4 long.
Alright, keeping it together nice and
right 6 over crest,
crazy.
Continues and right 4 long.
It's feeling good.
60. Right 3 past junction, opens over 2 crest, keep left through dip, crest. Right 5 past junction, and crest.
Alright, got that back under control.
Into middle over crest.
It's a bit sketchy for a second there.
Keep right over long crest, jump maybe. Left 6 over bump and crest. care, right 6, tightens 4 over crest, jump maybe. Into left 4 half long, no cut, 40. Right 5 past junction, keep in over crest, jump. And caution, left 4
Alright,
half
this
long,
is
keep
just
in, crest,
insane.
right on exit.
Try to talk during this
And crest jump maybe.
and have like
Into right 4 long, tightens
something that
3.
resembles
Into
live
left
commentary.
3 half long.
Crazy. Just crazy.
Into crest jump maybe.
Something
Past junction, crest.
I did prior to the GT3 race was that I took the CJ for a drive because I just wanted to be in a good mood prior to the race. Took CJ for a drive out in the 50-degree weather, 15-mile-per-hour gusts of wind.
60. Caution right 6 past junction into middle over big jump and crest jump. 150 over bumps past
Death.
junction. Bump left
Whoa.
6 middle over crest jump maybe.
I didn't die.
And crest and keep right over crest and crest.
But
40 past junction crest jump maybe.
that was nice.
Into left 6 through
I was quite happy with how that went, and
200 past
I love
junction.
driving it.
Right 6 over crest.
And I was saying to myself after I drove it
Maybe 40 keep left over crest.
how much I really look forward to getting the CJ to 100%, because right now it's definitely not at 100%. 1 seconds down. There we go. That's awesome. See where that puts me. Puts me right behind Mr. Cone Dodger. Just above Piker. And I'm above Sebi. Our good friend Sebi, who we are in the GT3 series with. And the Holy Moose didn't quite get ahead of Maestro here in Finland. Spooky Squid down there. Yole. And CW25. Wow, Yole. Good job, Yole. Hope you keep that up. Alright, here we are on the second stage. I noticed in the loading screen that there's actually 5 stages. I hope there are 5 short stages, because I was not prepared for that. I haven't watched anyone's videos yet, so I had no idea that was coming. Alright, let's get ready for this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And keep right over 2 crests, 40.
Alright, so back to where I left off on the last stage was that the CJ's definitely not at 100%. The transfer case is currently still leaking fluid. I haven't got to rebuilding the spare one yet.
Into left 6 past junction, 60, middle over crest jump, into middle over crest jump, 130.
Oh my god. How did I not die there? Oh, wow.
Left 3 continues for 100 past junction, don't cut. Crest, 40 past junction, right 5 over crest, don't cut, opens and tightens.
Oh boy. Oh, okay, catch my breath. Wow.
Crest, 130 crest jump.
Anyway. It's leaking fluid still, and because of that, it gets hot, and
into left 3 long opens, don't cut.
And when it gets hot, the trans definitely doesn't. The transfer case isn't really happy. You can hear gears very angrily spinning, and it I could just feel it's not at 100%, and it causes me to have to kind of drive it a little bit differently so I don't mash the gears together. And well, it's not that great, or not that. It's obviously not good to be driving it like that, but it's not that terrible either. And I'm just looking forward to getting it to 100%. Oh. That was a bit of Oh, why? At least it's towards the middle of the stage, not at the beginning. But it just makes me think of how much better it's gonna be once I get it 100%, and I'm so looking forward to that day. And that's gonna be over this winter that I'm gonna be doing that. And I'm driving a little cautious because I know that that front right's gone. But I'm looking forward to rebuilding that and getting it to 100% because it's just going to be a blast to not have to worry about that transfer case. I don't have to drive cautiously. Like I have to, you know what I mean, but like not, like I don't drive like 25 miles per hour. I still drive as pretty much the speed limit, or as fast as it can go. But I'm talking more just not having to drive to preserve it, like not fluctuating the throttle carefully to keep the gears from grinding with each other. So like if I let out of the throttle really fast, it'll want to grind the gears, and I can feel this, that the gears are kind of not meshing quite right together. So I will, like I said, feather the throttle. Ah, jeez, car. I had the it's stalled there, but I had the clutch pedal all the way in, which is weird. But I'll have to feather it and keep it from quite doing that, and I can do a pretty good job about it and keep them from grinding too bad. But it'd be nice to not have to worry about that and not have to do it and just drive it and enjoy it the way it's meant to be enjoyed. And I really look forward to that day. It's still, even with the way I'm driving it, it's just an absolute blast to drive. Unlike this car with a flat front tire, it's a little unwieldy. Lost some time there. Yeah, 54 seconds. Oh, that stinks. I was doing good, but I'm not too concerned about it. Happens. That's probably going to drop me down quite a bit. Oh yeah, all the way down. Piker stayed right behind me though. Looks like we had similar issues there. Hopefully some other people have some issues and we can jump back up. Looks like Cone made improvement there, and so did Sebi. So, wow, actually if we would have stayed with how we did last race, we would have been right up there with them in the top 10. Wow. That stinks. Oh well. What are you going to do? Alright, here we are in the third stage. We can continue our discussion now. Once we're full into the race, you know. Let's not talk while we have the opportunity to. But, anyway, I can continue. What's kind of the thing I really look forward to about being at 100%, kind of as this car is back at 100%, I'm getting used to it. Once it gets to 100%, I will be willing to. Oh, treat. Once it gets to 100%, I'll be willing to drive that Jeep any single day that it's not gonna rain. As long as there's under like a 40% or 50% chance of rain, I'll drive it to work. Right now, I'm not doing that because I know every time I drive that, I'm causing more damage to it and gonna be hurting the vehicle. So I'm trying to kind of reserve driving it. I'm keeping it running to keep it happy, because if you neglect a car and you don't drive it, it's gonna cause issues. Things are gonna go wrong with it. It's not gonna be happy. Vehicles are just like humans in the fact that if you don't move and you don't use yourself, you don't use muscles, or you don't do something, it's not going to be happy when you go to use them. You're going to be sore, just like that. They're very similar. It's practically the same thing in the way they act, and so I run it on occasion to keep it going and keep things that are working, keep them working, and only do minimal damage to the transfer case and transmission because of the whole issue with the gears and leaking the oil.
Jump maybe past junction, don't cut.
So
100, left 5 long over 2 small crest.
currently
80 long crest. Right 3 half long.
that's the only thing keeping me from driving it much more often. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Right 5 over crest, jump maybe, don't cut. 60. Caution line over jump 120. Right 4 long, opens over bump and tightens 40. Left 4 long.
Hey, no door. Oh, this is familiar feeling for me.
60, right 6 past junction, crest, 80 through dip, left 5 over crest, 100.
Say what you will about Codemasters, but I do like the change in volume because I lost the door. That's kind of cool. And I have had the pleasure of experiencing that way more than any human being should, because I lose doors more than anyone else. Because it's a Jeep thing, you wouldn't understand. Jokes. Overused jokes and memes. Here's a little confession to you that people might not expect. I loathe people in modern JKs. Don't get me wrong, there's people that are good Jeepers in modern JKs, but the newer JKs just seem to bring in the worst of the Jeeping community. Ooh, only 33 seconds back with that. I'm happy with that. But yeah, it's just the people, like, it's especially people of my kind of age group in their early to mid 20s that are just, I can't stand them, where they lift it and they put 20 grand worth of frickin' off-road accessories and different things and the little angry eye bug deflector that looks ridiculous, and they do that all to their Jeep, and maybe they'll go off into the into a beach and drive on a beach or go on a little dirt trail. That thing is so much more capable, and I have a guy that I work with who has the same thing. It's lifted, it's got 35-inch tires, it's got this beautiful, like, heavy-duty winch, gorgeous Jeep, snorkel, friggin' really capable Jeep, and he said he will never take it off the road. And that is just the biggest frickin' slap in the face to real Jeep owners that ever. And that drives me nuts. 4, 3, I hate seeing that. 2, so that's why the modern JKs are a sore spot for me. 100, left 4, and it's kind of also, it's funny, a lot of people, a lot of like Jeepers like me will kind of start out in YJs or Cherokees like I have, and they'll go kind of forward in years and get a TJ, which is more capable, way more capable than a YJ is, because it has the coil springs, and like the technology obviously as time went on got much better. So the natural progression, if you're an off-road enthusiast, is to go up in go up. Oh, I knew that was a square right, and I was like, I don't hear the square right turn or call. But so the natural progression is to go up into more modern, more capable vehicles. But I've found myself more attracted to the older vehicles. Like, I have a very kind of unorthodox kind of progression into Jeeps, where I started out in a early Cherokee in '95, which is like, I guess if you want to go by kind of your standard car generations or whatever, that would be like a third gen Cherokee, because the first gen, or the original big full body Cherokees, which are just slightly smaller Willys wagons, essentially. Then after that, you have the kind of second-gen Cherokee, where they introduce the whole unibody design. So your first gen is body on frame. The second gen is the first gen of the unibody, and then the third gen is it's still a unibody, but they made improvements. They stretched out the engine bay slightly to get more room for that larger straight six, and eventually with my engine, the high output 4-cylinder, which is a just absolutely glorious engine that they stole from AMC. I forget where it's a tractor motor. I forget where it's derived from. I should know this, but I know Les Cubes will know this if he watches the video. It's just a fantastic motor. So I went from that 3rd gen Cherokee, and then I went all the way back to the original civilian Jeep with a 48 CJ, and it's kind of a strange progression as far as Jeeps go. You might see some people go from like a YJ back down to a CJ like mine. Oh, I saw that coming from a mile away, but I couldn't avoid it. I would imagine so, but right at the end, I don't mind. But it's less common to go from a Cherokee to a CJ is what I'm getting at. And actually, one of the writers for Jalopnik did the same thing. He's a huge Cherokee guy like me, and he went to a CJ. And wow, 12 seconds, even with that spin. That is awesome. We might make a comeback after all. That puts us up to 17th. Wow, Yole! Way to go, Yole! In 22nd. I didn't really move up at all, but still. This is just like an easy stage. Anyway, let's move on, and we can continue our Jeep discussion. Alright, looks like we're going to finish off on a night stage. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Let's see how this goes, and we'll continue our discussion.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Right 4 over crest, and left 4 opens 40.
So, kind of along that whole
left 3 over crest 60.
The whole kind of subject of me
Right 4 opens over crest 40.
enjoying the kind of wanting to go back to the older Jeeps and just marveling at the older Jeeps.
Right 4 over crest and middle over crest.
I'm really sad. I was kind of why I wanted to drive the CJ stemmed from on Friday. I was looking on my normal website for old Jeeps, just kind of keep my eye out looking for deals, anything nearby, and I saw a late 50s forward control for sale, which for those of you that don't know, the Jeep forward control is a cab over pickup truck that the Jeep made from early 50s to early 60s, I believe. Wasn't a huge seller. They're pretty rare, and they were used as farm vehicles, so they're mostly beaten up. They weren't really cared for, so a lot of them are in dire kind of straits. But I saw one for sale, and it was for sale in Iowa, the far left or far west section of Iowa, which I looked up after I was looking through the ad. I looked it up because I was interested, and it was a 20-hour drive. And in the ad, the guy stated that it was running, driving, had brakes, and
junction, crest jump.
take that for what it is in a Craigslist ad. That could be truth, it could not be. It's hard to tell.
And keep left over
With
crest
Jeep
jump, 80.
Jeep ads, I tend to trust the people a lot more, especially with old Jeeps.
Crest jump.
Jeep people are usually pretty honest people, so I tend to trust someone that if they say it runs and drives and has brakes, for the most part it has all those things. It might not be in good order, it may not be a healthy running engine, but it might be running and everything. So that had me intrigued, and on top of it, it was a $1,800, oh, death. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, man. I think I have a tree in front of me? I can't tell. Nope. Just that bush was causing me to stall. But the price tag was $1,800, which is cheap for what it is. You'll be looking for forward controls, a rundown one that doesn't run is $3 grand. So I saw that and I was like, I have to try to find a way to get out there and get this. I was considering it that much, and I kind of hesitated because I'm currently taking care of my dog, which is 15 years old, diabetic, Cushing's. He's in last legs of his life, and I'm taking care of him for my parents while they're on vacation. So I was hesitating, and because of that, and trying to figure out how I would keep him okay and who would watch him while I drive out and get this Jeep. And that made me hesitate, and by the time I checked right before leaving work, oh boy, wow. Before I even left work, it was already sold, and that put me in kind of a sad mood. So that's why I wanted to drive the CJ, because oh man, I literally would have drove all 20 hours to buy this and have to figure out how to ship it back to my house because it was that good of a deal. But just to show you how good of a deal it was before the end of the day was, like, before I even left work, it was already sold. And Piker bested us at the last end there. But what are you going to do? I'm very happy with how that went, especially just getting to talk Jeeps. As you know by now, I thoroughly enjoy talking about Jeeps. So that was really good. I think that was the last stage. I haven't been keeping track very well. Yeah, that was the last stage. So, I would like to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed me rambling about Jeeps and kind of my feeling towards my CJ and everything. Because I really enjoy that, and I had quite a good time racing while talking about it. So, thank you very much for watching.